next test, which starts very quickly on Thursday. So we'll talk about Lords right now on MNL, and smash a like, and of course share this podcast. If you're listening later on Spotify, give us some love there as well. But what can we expect? Let's discuss that quickly with the boys before we of course talk about even the baseball bit, which I really want to get into. Guys, where do we stand on Siraj being rested? Because we just kind of spoke about him, but is he going to be kind of looked at workload management wise? Because there's Arshdeep waiting in the wings. Siraj is, of course, probably going to be the workhorse generally for India. So about his workload management and any other changes that we can expect at Lords. Nick, I'll start with you.
I would not risk Siraj, not now. Unless there is a clear, obvious problem, then yes, please go ahead and rest him. That would mean that Prasidh again gets the old ball and Akashdeep and Bumrah can bowl with the new one. So unless there is any risk of any injury, I also felt Siraj was well rested, because even in the first test, if you see at the back end, he did not bowl too much with Bumrah. He only bowled at the very back end with the new ball. And then and that's also one place where we have to credit England. Thank you for not batting too long, because it means India is not bowling too much, which is also good for India's bowlers, because they are well rested in that sense. So unless there's an injury, I would play Siraj. You want to win Lords. You win Lords, massive pressure on England then, and then you can see how you want to go with Manchester and Oval, which could be dry, could turn, who knows.
Yeah, who knows? Wrestle Singh, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Not many might think this way, but I guess Siraj needs to be rested for the third test. Arsh for him and Bumrah for PK. I mean, many would agree with you. I think many even would probably want to throw Kuldeep into the mix, knowing that NKR is not in the best of form. Kuldeep can give you good mystery spin. It's going to be probably dry at Lords with the summer baking down on that track. And Civi saying different things in terms of Adidas and Nike. We saw that controversy in Insta, didn't we? So keep your comments coming through. We'll, of course, carry on previewing the Lord's test. Akshay, what's your gut feel? Because Bumrah, I think, will definitely come back in. So for Prasidh, let's just assume that. Do you think they'll tinker with the top 5, top 6, maybe bring out an NKR, look in another pacer?
I don't mind them now potentially looking at playing both Washi and Jadeja based on the surface, of course, assuming that the surface is similar to what we've seen in the WDC. Thoda purchase वगैरह अगर मिलता है, then I don't mind them sticking to both. Nitish के बदले they can actually go for a bowler. Abhi batting Washi bhi, he's shown that he can bat over here. So has Jadeja, of course. You can depend on them as your 7 batters, to be a part of those 7 batters, and then go for 4 bowlers in, the likes of whoever that you want to go for. Sorry, 3 bowlers. No, 4 hi hoga na. Oh, no, 3 hoga. 3 hoga. Nitish was the 4th pacer. But you can go for whoever you want. I do not see, a slightly left field call. I don't mind Team India resting Bumrah, assuming that the surface does not warrant his inclusion. Hear me out. I want to hear your thoughts on this. The reason I feel so is now England's already on the back foot. 4th and 5th test is where I think the pressure will truly be at its peak. Jahan pe matlab bhai jeetna, and there'll be a lot more crunch moments. And that's where Bumrah will be sort of your, holy grail ki bhai har baar isko ball loge, so you will be expecting him to come good with the ball. That's where he can really, and such pressure situations is where Bumrah has also thrived in the recent past. So I wouldn't mind having him there. And again, all of this is surface dependent, contingent on the kind of surface we'll see. Assuming that it is a WDC kind of surface, यहाँ पे थोड़ा bowlers के लिए help है. Akashdeep, Arshdeep and Siraj, because 2 of them have already shown. Arshdeep is someone we've all been saying कि भाई खिला ही लो. So I don't mind seeing that Troika bring England 4th and 5th both being played by Bumrah. This is my opinion. People might argue 4th and 5th is also being played with a shortish break, but yeah.
No, I agree. I agree to that, but I agree to that in a half-hearted way, because I feel I'd rather gamble with Bumrah at Lords than at the Oval. So I'd play him in the 3rd and the 4th, where Lords in Manchester historically has something in that track, rather than Oval, where it just peters out, and you probably can even play Sundar and Kuldeep and Jadeja if you want to. It depends on how the series scoreline stands at that point in time. But the thing with going into this Lord's test, right? India made 3 changes, Nicks, coming in Edgbaston. All 3 have worked well, apart from NKR. Many would probably say that Sundar didn't have so much of a big impact, but I think he also kind of had some say in the game by getting Stokes out, so on and so forth, and that little partnership that he got with Gill in the first innings. So all in all, if you actually want to take out the obvious two, Prasidh goes out and NKR goes out, right? Let's imagine on form. Then your Bumrah comes in for Prasidh, and who comes in for NKR? Are you thinking a pace quartet? Are you thinking Kuldeep because England would probably struggle against him, has nightmares and all of that stuff? So what are your two obvious changes? Because surely it can't be three obvious changes or just the one. It has to be two, I feel.
I think it'll just be one, and I will not be surprised if it's only one. I think for the second, we've clearly seen that they want the batting depth. And see, if the surface is like that, maybe NKR can bowl. And I was not disappointed from what I saw of NKR. And I think he's someone who we have to see him bowl. Only then we'll be able to groom him into somebody who can bat and bowl and do the job for you. So I foresee only one change. And again, ideally, if you ask me, it's a tricky call between NKR and Sundar to play Kuldeep. I would ideally just get back Bumrah for Prasidh and play Kuldeep for either of NKR and Sundar. It will mean that Jadeja bats at 6, one of NKR Sundar plays 7, and then we can figure out agar aapko waisa karna hai to. So the surface, and something that Gill said in the post-match presser, that they feel that finger spin will give them a lot more control. Again, we can debate that because I feel Kuldeep ने ऐसा कुछ नहीं किया है जो मेरे को ऐसा देख के लगे कि वो कंट्रोल नहीं देगा. But if they think that way, I think I'll just be a bit more pragmatic and say that maybe they'll not want to go to Kuldeep. They'll be happy with the batting depth. They can get in Bumrah for Prasidh, which means Bumrah Akazi with the new ball, Siraj with the old ball, and then you have NKR as your fourth seamer, and you still have Sundar and Jadeja. Two options that you can bowl because Lord's is going to be hot. 30 degrees high temperature, consistent across the 5 days, and it is dry. So grass hoga bhi agar pitch pe, I think it will dry out and eventually become better to bat on. So I would play Kuldeep, but I can understand if they don't play him.
Okay, some good comments coming in from Abbas, Shivaram, Apex, Wrestle Singh. We'll take all of them in just a bit. Kuldeep will not be needed in the Lord's pitch, saying Greg. And I also feel Bumrah shouldn't play at Lord's, saying Sivaram. Sivi absolutely bashing Akshay, saying looks like Akshay consumed too much cider. But cut him some slack. I think that's his fair opinion. And look, Akshay, my simple question to you is, who do you think can go out? So I think there's 4 guys who can go out, and whoever comes in, comes in. The 4 people who can go out are Sundar, NKR, Prasidh, and Siraj, because he needs to be managed in terms of his workload. No one else can go out of that side. I mean, according to the outside and stuff like that. Where do you sit in this? Because what do you do with people like Sai, who you binned after first test? You bring him back in. Now NKR has had a howler. Do you bring him out and then put someone in? Because that's also not really good.
Yeah, NKR second innings mein hardly bowled, right? First innings, I know he bowled what 8 overs and all of them, single digits mein tha. Second innings mein bhi itna nahi dala to sort of say.
Second innings he didn't bowl.
हाँ, वाह, सही है. So if they are going to be looking at NKR primarily as a batter who can also offer a bowling option, तो नहीं चाहिए भाई. Bring in a Sai. But I'm guessing the reason why they are slightly reluctant right now is Karun at 3 is what they're looking at. तो अगर साई आता है तो फिर साई को नीचे खिलाना पड़ेगा at number 6, which I don't think they want to. So I'm guessing it's more of a forced change that way, unless they decide to drop Karun Iyer, which I think would also be a bit harsh right now. मतलब एक और टेस्ट तो कम से कम दे ही दो.
Do you think Rahul Singh has a point here? He says now Gambhir will play 3 all-rounders for whole series, because this is something that he generally liked. BGT exposed him, and he's gotten away with it in how this time around. But maybe this is his thinking.
I hope not. But I mean, there's good reason to believe that Gambhir will now continue with this, right? Because he's got the result that we all wanted. So now he has that higher moral ground. Abhi to, matlab, agar hum usko bolenge ki nahi bhai ye mat karo, he'll throw the Edgbaston, and again with reasonable confidence that too, ki bhai Edgbaston mein humne jeeta na, we have done that, right? So considering that, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to make of it, because had I been a coach and had I made a few left field calls that would have worked for me, I would have definitely continued with it, because that was my gut feel. So it's going to be very tricky. And once again, as outsiders talking about what's happening inside, there's only so much that we'll be privy to once again. So which is why I don't know how much of it will actually come to fruition. But Prasidh going out has to be It's a given, I feel, at this point in time. Ya to Bumrah ya fir even Arshdeep, based on what they feel. In all likelihood, it might be Bumrah, but NKR for Kuldeep, I don't think will happen because वो clearly batting the चाह रहे. Like Nikhil bhai said, they are looking for it.
Yeah, I mean, sports fan cheekily just saying जीतने के बाद कोई team change नहीं होगी. I mean, that could be very well the case, but definitely India will have an eye on the 4th and 5th test, even though they want to put their best team out at Lords. And there'll be a lot of players who will go up to Gambhir and be like, Lords, it's Lords, I want to play. It's an iconic test, it's an iconic ground, so on and so forth. So there'll be a lot of that, but I think India will be unshuffled at the top of the order. There'll be 2 changes at best, I feel. Maybe just the one that Nix is suggesting as well, with Prasid going out, Bumrah come back in, and everyone gets another bite of the cherry.